Lasciatemi cantare con la chitarra in mano, lasciatemi cantare, sono un italiano. Buongiorno Italia, gli spaghetti al dente e un partigiano come presidente. Con l'autoradio sempre nella mano destra, un canarino sopra la finestra. Buongiorno Italia con i tuoi artisti. Con troppa America.
Generally believed to be out there, some of which are unfortunately becoming extinct, but people are trying to bring them back. So Italians have this great love of establishing laws and then not necessarily following them. So Italy was still evolving as those laws were put into place, and it only became a unified country very, very late. So relatively recently after World War II, which is really so recent in history. So in some cases, they actually evolved to doing things better than what the laws said, and the laws have changed to reflect that.
There are a lot of international varietals as well in Italy. I find Italy can be confounding in the fact that there are so many indigenous varietals and so many of them being rediscovered and recultivated and brought back into the market. And with DNA ampelography finding out how many different strains and varieties there are. So it just makes Italy for me difficult and constantly changing. Sort of where these regions are in the country, how the topography and how the sea, because you see Italy is mostly surrounded by ocean, how that's all affected the flavor of the wines. And I think that's one of the interesting things about Italy too. I think of it as being a fairly hot country for the most part, although you do have the snowy Alps up in here and quite high elevation and mountains that go right to the Ligurian coast, a mountain range that runs all the way down through, tons of volcanoes, lots of different microclimates. So even within a hot area like Sardinia or Sicily, you go up into Mount Etna 300 meters above sea level and cooling breezes from the sea, and you can get some different microclimates. So it creates a lot of variety. Here you see Perugia in the middle. It's one of the only landlocked regions of Italy. Basically is really the only landlocked one, I think, unless you count Itty-Bitty Molise, which doesn't have much of a coastline either. Perugia known for chocolate. We also have nice, light, crisp white wine. So this is a blend of Trebbiano, Malvasia. You see it here, Grechetto. Actually, this one is Grechetto, Verdelho from Australia, and I do believe you also have some Verdelho in Portugal, which is a little bit different. Procanico and Drupeggio. So those are the normal standard grapes that they would use in Orvieto. Some of the other white grapes, Trebbiano, Malvasia, you find throughout the entire country and often blended on the
Pinot Grigio is a wine that's sort of made for the food to take over. You know, it's not really about the wine. It's about just something refreshing on your palate. Orvieto is very similar to that in some ways as Pinot Grigio. However, it's all about, this Orvieto is all about texture, as you can see. It's like, it's got a lot of that crisp minerality, sort of that you want, but then it also really has very interesting texture to it. So this right here is from the Orvieto region, which you look on your map, about 45 minutes from Rome. Is it the grape or is it a place? Like Chianti, is that a grape or is it a place? Then all of a sudden you're running to Nero d'Avola. Nero d'Avola is a grape, it's not a place. So I'll run through it real quick, but Orvieto is the name of a town. Orvieto, 45 minutes from Rome, easy drinking white. Wanted to show you 3 different regions of Italy and 3 different expressions of white wine from Italy and how they're different. And it has a lot to do with where you are in the country. Number 2 is Pinot Bianco. So you're in northern Italy, you're a little bit more luscious, a little bit more minerality. It's a little bit more fuzzy than the first one, got a little bit more roundness, it's a little bit velvetier, but you are north, so it's a little bit of a cool region. So in cooler climates with wines, usually you get a little bit more acidity. Acid's a good thing in Italian wine. It makes your mouth water. It makes food taste better. So I encourage you, take bites with Italian wines, because that's how you make them sing. Wine number 3 is from Sicily. It was Caruso Menini Timpune Grillo. None of these 3 wines are aged in oak.
So how is...
What's that? Go ahead.
I don't normally like Chardonnay, so I like that third one.
It's delicious, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't normally like Chardonnays.
Well, that's what these classes are all about, right? Like it's all about the discovery too.
It's not Chardonnay, and the things that are different about it, it's got this... what he's saying is like Chardonnay. I think it's got this almost a toastiness on the nose, but it's not from oak. It seems to be coming from the the minerality from the soil, and while it has some richness, it feels, you can definitely feel it on your palate. It's present, it has a lot more acid than a lot of Chardonnays do. And to me, it finishes nice and clean, which is probably why you like it better.
Producers, who was doing a great job, wrote this letter, which is sort of a Dear John letter to the industry. And he says, "You are not suave, as your name implies. You are uncontrollable, untamable, unfaithful. So that's it. I'm going. I'm leaving you." Very Italian, very emotional, very passionate.